the time has arrived. Round one of the women's NCAA tournament is here, a time where 64 of the best teams in the country get whittled down to just 32. First up, day one on Friday, which was a mix of blowouts and some surprises. First up, we have national champs. Number 1 seed, the South Carolina Gamecocks versus number 16 seed Tennessee Tech, and by the middle of the first quarter, it was basically over with the help of the 3-ball defense and South Carolina's explosive bench. The Gamecocks at one point led this team by 63 points, and their bench alone scored 66 points in this game, outscoring Tennessee Tech's entire team, who only scored 48 in this game. And this marks the most bench points in an NCAA tournament game. It was Joyce Edwards who did her thing off the bench with 22 points, tallying her 5th 20-point game of the season. And she was followed by Mylasia Fulwiley, who also came off the bench, scoring 15 points, 5 assists, getting 4 blocks and 3 steals as well. As y'all know, Mylasia Fulwiley has been on her defensive bag this season. And Tessa Johnson was doing her thing, 11 points and 6 assists. And ultimately, South Carolina goes on to win this game 108-48, breaking an NCAA tournament game scoring record in program history, which is pretty cool. Next up, let's talk about another 1 versus 16 matchup as UCLA took down Southern. And in this first half, it was pretty close. Southern came into this game as the ultimate underdogs, and in the first half, they were scrappy, staying competitive on both the offensive and defensive end, with the score only being UCLA 38 to Southern's 26 at halftime. But in the third quarter, the size and overall skill of UCLA was just a little bit too much to overcome. Southern started to foul more, and UCLA got to their normal dominant ways with a balanced scoring attack from the entire squad. Janiah Barker came off the bench with the lone double-double of the game with 10 points and 10 rebounds. Lauren Betts dropped 14, and Tamia Gardner also came off the bench with 9 points, dropping 3 threes. UCLA get the job done at home with a final score of 84-46. Next up, let's talk about that number 2 TCU versus number 15 FDU. And to be fair, guys, y'all, FDU was very competitive in this game for the most part in that first half, with the score being 25-26 at the 5-minute mark. But then Madison Connor started to take over this game, scoring 7 straight points, extending TCU's lead, and basically TCU never looked back from there. Madison will go down to knock 4 threes down in this game, finishing with 23 points. Haley Van Lith did her thing with 13.7 assists. Sedona Prince had a double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 blocks as TCU wins it 73-51. Also, fun fact, guys, did you know that TCU got their first NCAA victory since 2006 and now have won 23 straight games at home. This win also comes 2 years to the date after Mark Campbell was first hired as TCU's head coach, with the team before that going 1 of 17 in the Big 12. I mean, seriously, what a difference 2 years can make. On to the other number 2 versus number 15 matchup as Duke easily took down Lehigh, and I'm not really sure what to really say about this game other than the score kind of tells it all. Lehigh literally scores 8 points in the first quarter, 2 in the second, 7 in the third, and 8 in the fourth quarter. Probably the worst tournament game I have seen on the offensive end for a squad. And the reason why is because Lehigh, they just couldn't really do anything. Defense for Duke. Lehigh, 30 turnovers in this game. They shot 19.6% from the field. This was a struggle fest, absolutely, for Lehigh. And for Duke, defensively, they did their thing. And offensively, they had Double O, Aluchi, Akanwa continuing to be amazing off the bench. She dropped 15 points in this game, 7 rebounds, and had 3 steals as well. Duke take care of business, winning big, 86-25.
We've emphasized like putting your entire focus on the team that you're playing that night, and that's it. That's all that matters, and not worrying about what possibly could be down the road. That's super hard to do in March, because the brackets come out and everybody's picking these matchups and saying, well, I can't wait for this matchup 3 rounds later. And then that matchup never happens because guess what? One or both of those teams don't get there. So our job is to get there. That's our job. That's Oregon's job. It's both of our jobs to get to the Sweet 16.
All right, from one blowout to another as Notre Dame experienced an injury scare, but does win easily, defeating Stephen F. Austin 106-54. And for Notre Dame, it was Hannah Hidalgo being Hannah Hidalgo. She got to the rim, dropping bucket after bucket, finishing the game with a very efficient 24 points with 6 rebounds and 5 assists. And as usual, she was playing some fantastic defense with 5 steals as well. And it wasn't just Hannah. Her partner in crime, Sonia Citron, was also dropping buckets, 24 points from her, 4 of 8 from the 3, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals. One player who struggled to find her shot all game was Olivia Miles, who went 0 for 6 from the field before going down, twisting her ankle in the fourth quarter. Eventually, she got helped off. She got helped up and ended up walking to the bench on her own power. We'll see what happens with Olivia Miles coming up soon.
It looked like an ankle. What can you tell us about her injury? What do you know at this point?
Yes, ankle injury, stepped on someone's foot, so she's going to be okay, but she's got to get treatment.
But do you feel like she'll be ready for the next
I
one?
haven't heard anything, but she walked off and she verbally said she was okay.
On to a nail-biter of a game between number 4 Kentucky versus number 13 Liberty. And guys, I did not expect this game to be that close. And let's actually fast forward to the fourth quarter, where this game really got interesting. To start the quarter, Kentucky had a 14-point lead. And then it was like the Wildcats forgot how to play basketball. They missed shot after shot. And for Liberty, they were led by Emmy Stout, who had herself a game. This freshman was getting shots down, helped Liberty to cut the lead to just 4 points.
And an over the back foul on Key will foul her out of the game.
This was a game that was 79-75 with 7 seconds left to go. Emma Hess ended up making a 3-point basket with 2 seconds left, but ultimately there was not enough time for Liberty to get another basket, as Kentucky barely survived at home, winning 79-78. And before I talk about Kentucky, I got to give a huge shout out to Liberty for their resilience in this game. Even though at times they were down big, they continued to fight their way back. Liberty flourished in the fourth quarter, shooting 10 of 16 from the field and shooting 3 of 5 from behind the arc. They also made all of their free throws and out-rebounded the Wildcats in the fourth quarter, let alone the game. They had 13-4 rebounds in that fourth quarter for Kentucky. If you excuse their fourth quarter collapse, they had a pretty standard game from Georgia Amore, who was hot from 3, going 6 of 10, finishing with a game-high 34 points to go along with 8 assists as well. We saw Clara Strack also add in 15 points and 10 rebounds. Going forward, Kentucky has to tighten it up if they expect to make it far in the tournament. Next up, let's talk about Baylor versus Grand Canyon, where it was very clear that the Lopes was a bad shooting night away and maybe another post player away from possibly getting the upset, because for Baylor, Aaronette Vonleh was eating them up down low. Yes, she did foul out of this game, but she had a super efficient 25 points, 11 rebounds in this game. Also, Jada Walker had a fantastic one as well, 17 points and 4 assists for her. Baylor got the job done, winning 73-60, but the Lopes finished the day shooting just 34% from the field, which is just the 6th time this season that they have shot under 40%. This is a team that normally is a very efficient team, but yesterday they were not doing that. They ended up concluding the season with a record of 32-3, setting a new winning streak. And now, reportedly, their new head coach is now out the door and is on her way to Arizona State. I told y'all, Molly Miller was not staying at GCU. All right, next up, let's talk about Ohio State versus Montana State. And this game was close until the third quarter, where Ohio State scored the first 15 points of the quarter, and it was kind of over from there. All 5 Ohio State starters scored in double figures, shooting 50.9% from the field. We saw Cody McMahon and Chance Gray both lead their squads with 15 points apiece. And Jelani Cambridge did her thing with 12 points as well. Ohio State go on to win 71-51 over Montana State. But I have to give a huge shout out to the Bobcats, Esmeralda Morales, who did her big one from 3, going 5 of 7 from beyond the arc and finishing with 20 points.
Dub crown is this team, because that was a team win. They had a lot of people, everybody, the bench was great, starters, people off the bench, people not playing, everybody was great. That's how you win this time of year as a team. Okay, so everybody come up, let's go.
Good job.
Let's not get too excited because we gotta finish the job.
All right, next up we have a 5 versus 12 matchup as Kansas State easily took down Fairfield 85-41. The Stags really didn't stand a chance, especially with the return of Ayoka Lee, who was playing in her first game since February of 2022. Ayoka did her thing for K-State, dropping 17 points on 7 of 10 shooting to go along with 10 rebounds. This was Ayoka's 64th career double-double, breaking a third-place tie in Big 12 history with none other than Brittany Griner. Serena Sundell did her thing as well with 18 points, going 8 of 10 from the field, and added a program tournament record 9 assists in this game. Taryn Sides did her thing as well with 14 points, including going 4 for 8 from the 3 ball to go along with her 4 rebounds and 3 assists. Next up, Ole Miss cruised past Ball State 83-65. The Rebels dominated most of the game, leading for over 34 minutes and out-rebounding the Cardinals 51-32. Kennedy Todd Williams and Star Jacobs both got some double-doubles, combining for 32 points and 22 rebounds. Star Jacobs did her thing. She shot very, very efficiently from the field. We saw Madison Scott drop in 15 points. She passed the 1,700 career point milestone, so shout out to her. This was an Ole Miss team that went on a run early, built a 25-point lead, and kind of never really looked back from there. This is the Rebels' 5th largest NCAA tournament victory, and they go straight to the second round, where they will end up facing Baylor. All right, let's move on to Tennessee, who opened their 43rd straight NCAA tournament appearance with a blowout victory, dropping 101-66 on South Florida. And guys, this was a game of record-setting threes for the Lady Vols. They dropped 16 threes, shattering the SEC's single-season three-point record for the season at 328 threes. Wild. Talasia Cooper was knocking down shots. She had 20 points in this game, 6 rebounds, and ended up making 3 threes. Samara Spencer, Z Spearman, Jewel Spear, they all was knocking down threes in this game, with 8 Lady Vols players knocking down shots from the 3-point range. We saw Tennessee's bench do their thing as well. And also defensively, we all know what Tennessee can do. They know how to play that full court press and turn you over. And ultimately, they ended up forcing 24 turnovers for USF. The Lady Vols dropped 100+ points for the 7th time this season. I mean, a lot of offensive firepower on this Tennessee team. And I've told y'all before, when they are on, they are really on. With this win, they advance to the second round. All right, next up, let's talk about Iowa State, who nearly pulled off the upset, but ended up falling short against Michigan. The final score of that game was 80-74. We saw Audie Crooks dominate with 28 points on 13 of 18, shooting her 6th straight 20-point game. She was trying to do her thing in this game. We also saw Ariana Jackson with 12 points on 4 made threes. We saw Addie Brown almost get a triple-double with 10 points and 9 rebounds. Shout out to Emily Ryan in this game. This was her final game in college basketball, where she had 5 assists to become the Big 12's all-time assist leader at 993 assists. Now, they were down by 10 in this game for the Michigan Wolverines, but they ended up surging back with a 27-18 fourth quarter to secure the victory for the Wolverines, I should say. Jordan Hobbs led the way with a career-tying 28 points. She tied Michigan's program record for the most in an NCAA tournament game. We saw all 5 starters for Michigan in double figures. Olivia Olson had 16 points in this one with a clutch game-sealing jumper to ultimately win this game for Michigan. Michigan get the job done, and they now have a date with Notre Dame in the second round. And guys, upset alert, upset alert, upset alert. Number 10 seed Oregon survived a late collapse and pulled out a gritty 77-73 overtime victory against number 7 Vandy. After trailing by 19 points early in the third quarter, Vandy stormed back in this game with a 38-19 run to force the game into overtime. Leilani Kapanis sent the game to the extra period with a layup in the final seconds of the fourth quarter. But Oregon ended up outscoring Vandy 10-6 in overtime to ultimately seal the deal. Michaela Blakes, the freshman phenom, led the way for Vandy with 26 points. This was her 21st 20-point game of the season. Camille Pierre also did her thing with 17. And ultimately, yes, Vandy did dominate to close out regulation, but when it mattered the most, Oregon ended up knocking down their 3-point baskets, and that was the story of this game. Deja Kelly did her thing with 20 points and 8 rebounds, and ultimately, Oregon gets the job done. They do improve to 4-0 all time as the number 10 seed, and they have a date with Duke on Sunday. Bottom line, hey, make your threes and never, ever, ever give up. And sometimes it's good to have a lot of veterans on your squad because that's exactly what the Ducks had.
I need everybody to understand what's at stake. Every possession matters. We're going to send the message early. We all got to play together and play for each other. You're wearing these shirts to say together, correct? Yeah. Let's prove it. Let's go.
Fort Worth, Texas, the 7 seed Louisville Cardinals against the 10 seed Nebraska Cornhuskers in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Roberts loops it up with the right hand, put it in, falling down. What a finish. Left wing Curry skips it right wing to Russell, tries the 3, got it. First made 3 of the night for the Cards. Weaves through traffic in the front court, ahead right wing Roberts, a 3, got it. Pitches it on the left wing for Hake, stolen by Roberts, drives it left to right to the bucket layup, got on a foul. Teams have played their hearts out tonight. Expect nothing less in the NCAA tournament. Right around the Jumperman screen, right wing 3, got it. Curry knocks in the 3. 3:24 to go in the third. Here's a nice dump down to Jumperman's driving to lay it in. Gets it ahead to Rimdahl. Drives it Randolph on the run layup. Blocked by Randolph. Is to Istanbulou. Drives it Bojan. Reverse layup. Good. Turns left into the paint. Tunashu lays it off. Istanbulou lays it in at the low right to bring the third quarter to an end. Nebraska on a 10-0 run to start the fourth quarter. Nebraska 54, Louisville 50. 8 to shoot, drives left around her, righty floater, banks it in. Curry comes up lame on her right leg. Cochran the offensive rebound, dribbles in traffic, forced it up and is fouled. 30.4 seconds to play. 59-58 Cards. For Prince, way out right side, guarded by Cochran, angles right, they left her alone, drives, banks in a Curry layup, offensive foul! Curry took the charge! That'll do it. Cards on to round 2. They hang on and defeat Nebraska here tonight. Final score, Louisville 63, Nebraska 58.
Next up, we have number 9, Indiana, who pulled away in the second half to beat number 8 seed Utah. The final score of that game was 76-68. We saw the Hoosiers have a massive 27-point lead in the third quarter. They were shooting very, very efficiently from the field. We saw 5 players scoring in double figures for the Hoosiers, with the team being led by Yarden Garzone, who had 17 points. Shout out to Chloe Moore McNeil, who almost had a triple-double with 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Also, she did reach 500 career assists. So again, shout out to Chloe Moore McNeil. Indiana ended up outscoring Utah by 11 points in the third and ultimately held off a late Utes push. And for their first round success, Indiana is getting ready to face South Carolina in the second round. All right, and guys, to finish up Friday's day of games, we have number 8 seed Richmond, who made history with a dominant 49 victory over number 9 Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech, I thought they were going to win this game. I had them winning this game, but Richmond won their first ever NCAA tournament win in program history. They were led by Maggie Dugan, who was absolutely unstoppable in this game with 30 points. She had 15 rebounds, 6 assists. She was a one-woman wrecking crew in this game. The Spiders shoot very efficiently with 50% from the field, and they led they were a team that looked like it was going to be a close game initially, but the Spiders just absolutely act like they got shot out of a cannon. They were fan-freaking-tastic in this game, and there was nothing Georgia Tech could do to try to come back. This ended up being a 25-point victory, which is the largest by a team in its first NCAA win. So, shout out to the Spiders. The first time that's happened since 2012. And the Spiders advanced to the second round, and A10. Hey, y'all better watch out, because the Spiders, they trying to put the A10 on the map. Now, guys, that is your recap for all of Friday's games. Was that helpful? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all in the next one. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.